welcome. I am joined by the lovely Mia today, who has been working with us for the last 3 months. And she's kindly said she will join me today to talk a little bit about her journey and to share her views in regards to women's health and being able to put yourself first. Over the last 3 months, she's created an incredible success. So it's lovely to be here today with you, Mia, and I'm really excited to pick your brains with a few questions.
Yeah, thanks, Emily. Happy to join and see what I can sort of give people to that might encourage them.
Yeah, absolutely. So if we were to go back 3 months ago, tell me, like, what were your biggest struggles? Where were you struggling most?
Yeah, I think I'm going to probably actually take it back a little bit more than that. As you'll know, I first signed up for your newsletters around May last year, which was just after I'd had a hysterectomy. So sort of straight out of hospital, signed up for the emails and that I'd come across you somewhere on sort of social media. And then at the time decided that I probably needed to take a bit of time for sort of the physical stuff to heal up a little bit. And in that time, I think things just kind of I realized in my head that things had gotten a little bit out of hand in terms of my eating. So for the time before my operation, I wasn't physically very well and wasn't able to exercise and just live an active life to the same extent as what I've done all my life. I've always been keen on exercise, so it's not hard for me to get out the door, but I kind of lost that want. And for anything medical that sort of progresses slowly over time, you don't actually realize the big change that happens. So I kind of lost the interest in all of that. Then straight after my operation, I started feeling physically better because all that inflammation and all the horrible stuff was gone. But yeah, my eating had slowly become my sort of coping mechanism for all my feelings, happy feelings, sad feelings, all of it. Eating was really just what I went to. And so yeah, later in the year, definitely the biggest I'd ever been in terms of size. Still wasn't doing well. I was doing exercise, but there wasn't any structure or anything to it. And yeah, it just really felt like I now have the energy to turn this around. So it was important to also try something different. I've always, like I say, I've always exercised. I've always been self-sufficient with plans and things like that. But I thought that, especially around the emotional side of the eating, I definitely needed to try something a little bit different. And that's what I liked about your ads. It was sort of the whole holistic approach. Obviously, you guys mentioned hormones and all of that, which really, kind of ticked all the right boxes for me. So that's why I decided to give it a try.
Okay, and touching on relation with food, were you nervous about starting this journey and addressing it?
I don't think I was nervous at all. Probably more, I wasn't sure if it would work, but I just felt like I had to try something different. So for me, it was just always like the eating happened so mindlessly, and then it's only afterwards that you go, oh, wait a minute, that wasn't great. Now I don't feel good about it. And it felt like I wasn't sure how to kind of put that stop and that pause in before. And now that I look back on it, it kind of feels silly almost, you know what I mean? Like it feels like it just clicked in my head one day. But yeah, happy to be on the other side of it now, really.
Yeah, and I just want to highlight what an amazing transformation in 3 months. It's a very short amount of time to be able to, and I just think, committing 12 weeks to making this change is incredible, because food guilt, things, the time spent thinking about, oh, I shouldn't have done that, it's so consuming on everyday life. So amazing that so that's my question. Over the last 3 months, tell me, what have been your biggest wins? Like, what have you achieved? Just the transformation.
Yeah. So I think, and I don't think I've really done anything. I feel like it was really all down to Lou. I don't know. I don't really know what she did. But I feel like she just, I don't know, somehow put like a bookmark in there, that there was sort of a day leading up to that, and then a bookmark, and then sort of everything that's come after that. So how things are today and how I see myself today is, it doesn't mean that I don't eat nice treats, or even on the odd occasion still celebrate something with a treat that is food. But I think largely I've moved away from all of that stuff. Where I now do eat those treat foods, it's a conscious decision. and not sort of autopilot. So in the beginning, I was just sort of eating bags of sweets and, tons of pastries every week, whatever, and just sort of felt like, well, they're just in my life. I don't really know how to kind of avoid it. I do think moving forward, I'll stick to recording what I eat, because I think it just gives me that accountability. That just works well with my personality. I'm sure it's not for everyone, but for me, that works really, really well. I think it's been about being mindful and setting sort of small goals for every week. I feel like that has just sort of rolled out over the rest of my life. None of this has been new for me per se, in terms of the learnings of what to eat and how to exercise and all of that. But it definitely has brought some structure to it, which I think I lacked at that stage. And I think when you're feeling kind of lost, it's very helpful to bring that structure and have a framework within which to go. Then, like I said, as you move forward, you decide which of those things, you'll keep, that'll never kind of move away again. And then I think some of the other bits that also helped, I listened to some of your podcasts and so on. And there was sort of something around kind of defining a new you. And yeah, it maybe sounds a bit cheesy almost, but I actually use that now. And it's like, even in our talking at home, we'll talk about, well, old me, I kind of used to do that, but now I don't do that anymore. And it's sort of separating the two off. And that is also what makes me feel like I won't be tempted to go back to that. It feels like it no longer serves me. And some of it's been tough. You said sort of, it's been over a relatively short period of time. I'd say emotionally, it has actually been quite tough. And at one stage, I thought, sure, I'm so emotional about stuff. But again, sort of breaking it down with my partner and with Lou, I've had to find new ways to kind of deal with feelings and, sort of just that sort of sitting with feelings, but that you're actually processing stuff a bit better. So yeah, all in all, I think it was just what I needed, and it's had really good outcomes. And then, yeah, physically it's been good. My goal was never a number on a scale, but I mean, that stuff's all come naturally. And even now moving forward, because it is quite tempting, and I'd say at home there've been some concerns like, am I now going to sort of get obsessed with weight or shape or sort of way to next? And I genuinely feel comfortable that I feel like the way I'm eating, the way I'm exercising is sustainable, which has been sort of my primary goal. And then those numbers will find sort of a happy medium, a happy stopping point at some stage, and then hopefully that is what we can just live with. I'm not sort of chasing anything per se. So yeah, as long as the good habits stay, then I'm being successful.
Yeah, and because you chose a holistic path to get here, then it does embed healthier habits, and it does enable you to be in a really strong position to sustain what you've achieved. And you touched on this. We all know what a healthy food is, but it's about being able to allow somebody else to come in and just look at everything about you as a holistic person and to go, right, this is the plan of action. I want you to focus on the doing rather than the thinking, and trust into this and let me support you. And I know you and Lou have worked so closely on that level as well. But it's never just about losing a few pounds. It's about creating a new identity. It's about going, okay, well, like I always say, right, I would have said in that podcast, Emily A used to do Christmas like this, and Emily B now does Christmas like this. And it's constantly
such a helpful tool. It really, really is.
Yeah, I so agree, and I still use it to this day, and it's something you'll probably remain with long term. So if someone was listening into this, maybe they've gone through surgery or are going through perimenopause, going through hormonal changes, and they've noticed changes in their eating habits and they're feeling a bit stuck. What would be your advice? What would you want to share with them in this moment if you were having an intimate cup of coffee with them?
I think you touched on it just now. I think it's about having someone who you can be certain is only focused on your best interests, because speaking to a friend or speaking to a family member or anyone, of your own, they are also emotionally invested in the relationship and, how they relate to you and so on. And that's what's handy, having sort of an outsider third party. They are only focused on what's best for you. They are looking at things more objectively. They are not emotionally kind of entwined in any of it. And like I said, Lou's done the heavy lifting. I've just had to execute, which sort of takes away a lot of that stress. So I think especially if people are feeling uncertain, lost, and all of that, I think it has felt like a really safe way to just give it a go and to, try not have huge expectations, just trust the process that you're doing the right things. And it certainly has helped me. I'm sure it'll do the same for everyone else.
Yeah, absolutely. And one thing, obviously, you created the incredible mindset shift, but physically as well, your body changed as a byproduct of that. But the big piece here is Mia was never leading with, I need to lose X amount and constantly just focus on the scale, leading more with, I want to holistically create these good habits for myself. I want to have a more peaceful mind up here. And by focusing on those areas, Lou knew the objective. Lou knew that Mia wanted to lose weight, but so we didn't focus there. We focused on, the habits piece, and the weight loss happened as a byproduct. And you've really have transformed your body over this period. So it's been amazing to see. And thank you so much for joining me today and sharing so openly around your journey. And this is a beautiful example. If you're stuck with food, transformation you can make in 12 weeks when it comes to the voices in your mind towards food and the behaviors towards food. So I want this to empower anybody that's listening that may feel stuck in a cycle with food. It is totally possible, okay? You don't have to remain stuck. So thank you so much, Mia, for joining me today and being so open. It's been a pleasure to chat to you.
Perfect. Thank you. It's been a pleasure. Cheers.